Alright, so this is Pwnsalot, and we're going to do a really quick tutorial on how to do Walk of Echoes weapon skills the quick way. This has been out for several years, but still a lot of returning players don't know about it. So you come over to where you fight Matt. If you're not familiar with that area in Rulud Gardens, you probably don't need to be doing this content. But across from the hall from Matt, you've got these Magi and Moogles. If you're not familiar with Magi and Trials, you probably should not be doing this content yet again. So you're going to go through this treasure chest. You're going to go 3 pages down, and it's going to start giving you -1 equipment. You're going to pick the -1 equipment that you want. Like, for example, I need a Molfrith -1, okay? Well, I actually just picked a Molfrith out of the box before I started recording, so I have one. So you take this, it's free. Once you have the Molfrith, you're going to actually trade the Molfrith, or whatever weapon it is that you're doing. There's a lot of popular ones. Some of the noteworthy weapon skills that come from this zone, CDC, which is Shot Du Signy, or however you say that, Rudra Storm comes from this place, and there's several more actually that come from this place. The one I'm about to do is Wildfire. That's really important if you like to, if you're a marksman, you need Wildfire for sure. So we're gonna get that done, and I'll show you just how easy it is from start to finish to get this done. You accept the quest. Alright, so the Moogle's going to tell me that I need to grab 30 coins of some specific kind. I prepared for that, and I have the coins. Let's just look at the reward. Range attack +3, okay. So I'm going to end confirmation at the bottom of that list. Alright, so now I'm going to say I'm ready. Next, he's gonna actually buff my character and give me a marking on this weapon so that it's under a trial. Okay, and my key item Magi and Trial log updates. That's what I get when I first come into Magi and Trials here. Alright, so I have a trial insignia on the Molfrith -1. Now this is the tricky part. This is the part that everyone screws up on, okay? Very specific kind of things for Magi and Trials. If it's a weapon that requires a usable item, you have to trade the weapon. Or let's say it's an armor. Any piece of gear that requires a usable item that you trade, that you get destroyed when you actually do the trial. In this case, you're going to trade the item, the armor or weapon, and the usable, perishable items to the box. If, however, instead the Magi and Trial says, oh, just collect a couple of seals, for example, to complete a quest, and it's for something that isn't really for a piece of gear necessarily, then you don't actually have to trade the equipment. But if it's a usable item in your inventory and it gets destroyed and it's used to upgrade a weapon or an armor, this is how you're supposed to do it. Like, it won't accept any other way your trade. So here's my coin of birth. I'm going to trade all 30 of them and the gun. Now if I had just traded the coins, it would have given me this same prompt, but it would have thrown an error message. So just a heads up, you have to trade the gun as well. That way the game knows which, well, shouldn't be the case, but the game needs to know that you still have the item in your inventory, the trial item. Okay, so now I'm going to report my success to the Magi and Trial Moogle. All I really think I have to do is trade the completed trial gun back to the Moogle. He's going to look at it. I no longer have the coins. While this is happening, I'm actually move my over to this zone so I can actually get all the coins that I need. Alright. So that guy is done. I'm going to trade skip one more. This is a brand new Magin trial. Trial 3696. So it wants the gun that I just upgraded, and it wants me to get 100 devious dice. And then it's going to give me another upgraded gun, range attack 5. Oh wow, 2 more range attack for 100 devious dice. Who'd have thunk that for the low price of several million gil, you can get it. So then, once he's out of the cutscene, we'll do a trade. Alright. Hooray. Alright. Now again, we have to do the same process. So I'm going to take the item I have trial insignia on, and then I'm going to trade it to the box along with the item that the trial insignia is requesting me to get when I'm able to find it. Okay, it's devious dice. So I'll give them a stack of 99 and 1. If you goof and you give them too many, I do believe that they'll just keep the extra ones in your inventory and take the 100 out. So no big deal. Not gonna lose a 98, you know, a 98 stack or something. Alright, so now that trial is done. So now I'm gonna go back to the Moogle again and trade the completed weapon. It will take a while to get the hang of the process here, but you'll start. If you do enough of these, you'll learn the difference on how to use the boxes and how to trade the Moogle without getting any errors thrown because you're doing it wrong. Right. Good deal. So you're gonna make today. Alright. I got a +5 range attack now. Alright, so that Magi trial's done. Now these Walk of Echo weapons, they're a 3-step process. You do coins on those -1 weapons, you do coins, then you do dies, then you do liminal residue. In that order. Alright, now that the dies are done, I'm going to trade it back. Put a new trial insignia on it for the next trial. Alright, wants 100 liminal residue. And then it's going to give me a weapon that says wildfire on it. Great. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Alright, so we're gonna trade the box once we get out of this cutscene. Wolfrith -1. A little residue. Let's do a 1 stack and a 99 stack. Deposit the liminal residue, yes. It gives me my Basically lets me keep my gun, and any other liminal residue I accidentally traded would still be on me, of course. Now I'm going to trade the completed Trial Insignia weapon back for the last time. Moogle's going to look at it and congratulate me. But we're not done yet. This next step coming up, the length of time that it requires you to complete this next step is arbitrary. It's basically, if you've done all of the prereqs before, then you can breeze right through it, no problem. If you haven't done all the prereqs, you might hate this part, and then also might hate the fact that you spent all your gil on all those devious dyes and liminal residue, because this is the part that the wiki doesn't really tell you about in detail. Okay, this next part. So what do I have exactly? I have a gun. I just got a gun. I can equip the gun on my Corsair, and it has wildfire on it. Sure, alright. So let's go do that then. Let's go equip the gun and see what happens. Spoiler alert, what will happen is it will not be a 119 gun in that slot, it will be a level 99 gun. And the difference there is the item level of my character will change depending on what other gear I have on at the time. My point is that it's not a 119 weapon, and so you're not going to really use it at level 119, which is the cap right now, basically. See, this sword is a 119 sword, it says in the bottom right, and this shield is a 119 shield. And then these accessories are level 99, they don't have an item level. But the gun does. Except for the one that I just built is a level 99 gun, and there is no way to make it 119 per se. So this is where things get interesting. I'm gonna pull up on a wiki all of the prereqs that you have to do to get past this part. Let's see. Okay. So there's my webpage. Let's just make it a little bit bigger. Okay, so whoop-de-doo, right? So wildfire, I use a Molfrith. Okay. Magic weapon skill does light damage, I think, or fire damage. Yeah, fire damage. Which is good with light weapon skill chains, because that's how you would deal more damage. So you have a darkness weapon skill and a fire weapon skill for light. So you can do both elements in the tier 3 and the ultimate skill chains. That's the whole reason I'm getting it, because some monsters are not weak to darkness damage, so you'd have to wildfire them. But anyway, that's not the point. What do we do with this gun after we're done? Like, let's say you finish your first Walk of Echoes weapon, and it's a level 99, and you've got the weapon skill unlocked. Here's what you'll notice. I'm going to change on my game to a character that can equip the gun that I just made. And this is the part you're going to actually be stuck on when you do this. So pay attention. Alright, so notice that if I have no item level weapon, let's say that I used an Adiak instead, and it's a 115 item level. Let's say that's the best I've got, alright? I want to make sure I don't screw this up. Okay, well that's interesting because before it wasn't doing that. Alright, let's say that you have a hole in your gear. Let's say that you're using a pixie hairpin +1. What happens here? Do I still get item level 118? Okay, I do. Alright, well that's strange. It obviously there was an update that screwed with this, so there's a bit of a problem because I can't actually use Pixie Hairpin +1 with item level 118 and get to item level 119. But this is beside the point. This is not the point at all. So the point is the difference between the gun and a 119 gun is extraordinary. Look at the difference here. This is a Molfrith on the bottom with 63 damage and 600 delay, and it can allow you to do wildfire. Above that is a death penalty, Afterglowed. It is basically double damage, basically almost half the delay, and it's got all of these other abilities on it that make the character really, really strong. And it comes with its own ammo. It has infinite bullets. So, like, anything you could have dreamed of gets put on this 119 gun. It's like the best gun in the game. But that 99 gun doesn't cut it. It's just not good enough. So, how do we fix this? We throw it away, technically. That's how we fix it. But before we throw it away, we have to actually unlock the weapon skill for use on a death penalty or some other gun other than Molfrith. As you'll notice, when I put Molfrith on, when I equip this gun to my character, and I go to my weapon skill tree, down at the bottom you'll see wildfire as an option right here. If I put another gun on, like let's say compensator, because you guys might not have a death penalty, so it might be a poor example. If I go back and look for wildfire, it doesn't exist. So the goal here is to actually make it so I can put on compensator or death penalty or whatever gun you choose to get to 119. So I can equip this 119 gun and have wildfire. So you have to unlock it in Walk of Echoes from Cooperfried. There's a cutscene you can do to unlock it. But that's where things get a little bit hairy, because you have to actually go do a lot of homework on this wiki in order to figure out exactly how to do this. Basically, long story short, I'm going to walk through the steps here, but long story short, you have to do a series that builds upon each other in Voidwatch. You have to do all of the starter cities Void Watches, all the way up from tier 1 to tier 4, kill all of the bosses, and then do the next bracket of Void Watch. So there's a lot of Void Watch that needs to be done, in addition to some other stuff. So just real quick, I'm going to pull up the prereqs here, if I can find it, because the last time I was looking for this, it was a bit of a challenge to find it. Okay. So, how are we gonna do it? Let me just look up Rudra's Storm. I think this is how I learned. It's on here somewhere. Let's check this wiki. One of these wikis has all this information. Walk of Echoes weapon skill trial. Ah, yes. So they tell you exactly the same steps that we just recorded. All of the different kinds of stuff you can make here listed. But you see there's a previous quest. It says Guardian of the Void. That's the thing right there. Okay? So you have to if you want to unlock it on your character sheet and not have to have the weapon on you or use the weapon at all in order to use the weapon skill, that's what you need to do. And they explain in here, they explain in the walkthrough exactly what you need to do. You can get all of this stuff done, and then you have to. We're gonna skip method 2 because this is actually a different way to unlock it. It's actually a little bit harder, more quests to do. So the one that I did is the quickest if you have the prereqs done. Now this is the part where you don't see on BGWiki, so I'm glad this older Wikipedia is actually up. It's called ffencyclopedia.wikia.com. Or you can just type in ffencyclopedia.org and you can get to this wiki, and the search bar will take you here. If you just type in any name of any Walk of Echoes weapon skill, it's going to take you to a Walk of Echoes weapon skill trials page, which is this page that I have highlighted, and then you can look through the walkthrough and get step-by-step information if you don't feel like looking at the previous quests, because the walkthrough will actually spell it out for you. This is the important part, so tune into this, okay? I'm probably going to put a little note on the video. So you have to complete this Crystal War quest, which is a series, and Guardian of the Void quest. So these are two other quests that you have to complete. Oh, I'm sorry, not two other quests. This is one quest that's in a series that's in the Crystal War expansion that you have to do. So all Void Watch stuff. You take the final weapon, which is the one I just made, to Walk of Echoes, and you equip it in your main slot. For me it would be ranged, so I put it in ranged. Then you basically talk to the NPC that spawns Cooperfried in that zone, and Cooperfried will actually, well, we can actually see what happens at this point because I've already done the prereq, but the important part, the most important part of all of this is Guardian of the Void. Look at this monster. I'm gonna put this on full screen because this is super crazy, okay? That's full screen enough. We don't really care about what this lady's doing with her ramen. That's not important. Let's look at this quest though. Okay, so you have to start this Guardian of the Void quest. You have to start it in Pashal Marslands in Shadow Reign era, Shadow Lord era. Okay, that's the past Wings of the Goddess expansion zone. Go to the J9. You have to have already got all of these items in order to flag this, okay? And then once you flag this, you're good to go. So, long story short, you build these 4 tier 4 Abyssites from the 3 starter nations. So there's a series of NMs you have to kill. I'll pull up that page of NMs and we can look. So here's basically a list of all the NMs that you need to kill, and you only need to get to this part where you kill Hahava, Voidrot, and Seleno, I believe, and then you're done with the tier 4s. You get the tier 4s. Actually, I don't even think you have to kill these bosses. I think you just have to get the tier 4s to where you're able to spawn these 3 bosses. You don't actually have to kill these 3 bosses, I believe. But you definitely need to farm all the other NMs to get to those key items. Once you have those key items, oh, it says right here on the next step, you have to defeat all 3 of the tier 4 nation NMs. So that would be the ones I just listed. So here's notes on how you can get to them and kill them. Most of them can be soloed if you're good. Then you go back. Then you also have to complete a mission, Wings of the Goddess mission, which should have already been done if you're that far into Void Watch. So that's the easy part. But this is just a bunch of stuff you're gonna have to do to get the prerequisites out of the way. This entire series will take you a couple of days. So if you think you can sit down and do it all in one sitting, think again. That's not gonna be fun for you. Just pace yourself, do one city in one sitting. Do all the NMs, take a break, go do another city, do all the NMs, take a break. Okay, then you just follow this walkthrough for Guardian of the Void. Once that's done, then you have access to the Walk of Echoes weapon skill trials. But what's interesting about this whole process is you can start the weapon skill trial and get the level 99 completed gun or whatever weapon it is you picked without having done Guardian of the Void or any of the prereqs. And then by the time, yeah, because you can turn all that stuff in, but then when you have the gun equipped, you can't get the cutscene to actually break the equipment weapon skill to where it's unlocked on all guns. In my case, for you it would be a sword or a dagger or whatever. But yeah, if you don't have Guardian of the Void, you can't get that last cutscene, so you can't actually break the weapon. You have to carry the weapon, and you have to use the level 99 version of the weapon to get that weapon skill at all. So my point is, I would rather do way more damage with my 119 gun or my 119 sword or whatever, because my CDC is the same way. I don't use the level 99 Brunello, I use the level 119 sword. Because I've broken the Brunello and got the weapon skill unlocked. But in order to do that, have to do Guardian of the Void. Long quest series. Not that painful. If you need help, it's not that hard to recruit 1 or 2 players to help you do it. All the NMs are fun and reasonably easy to kill. And I suspect that if you actually go to, I'm hoping I don't say this, but I believe if you go to Jugner Forest Outpost, behind Jugner Forest Outpost, there's an NPC. It's kind of like a shady little back alley dealer, and he gives you these items that allow you to make the Voidwatch NMs much weaker, to where you can literally solo them no problem. Like, you can drop the level difficulty 5 times in order to get it really weak. So this is stuff you can do by yourself. That's my point. And you have to do it, or you're not going to be able to actually get this weapon skill stuff done. And you'll be stuck with the level 99 version of whatever weapon it is you spent several million gil to unlock, and then you're not going to be able to actually use a 119 version of that weapon skill. And that's going to suck for you, because even though, yeah, you spent the money, you still can't use the item. And sometimes people only build the weapon skills to get into a really quick party that's probably like a one-time thing. You know, I've done it. I've asked people to do it. They've done it. And we've gotten to the point where, oh, we think we have Rudra Storm, or we think we have CDC, or whatever it is, but in all actuality, Guardian of the Void's not done. So the person can't actually get a 119 version of that. Therefore, if they're doing DPS, they're going to suck. That's the bottom line. They're going to suck if they do the DPS. Alright, so now that we've actually gotten the, now that we've gotten all of the mumbo jumbo out of the way and have a pretty basic idea of like how to actually do all the quests, just believe me when I say that my Guardian of the Void quest is complete, so I can just go straight out there now. So at this point you would basically pause the video, complete Guardian of the Void, get all of those quests all cleared away, and then when you're actually at that point where it's all done, then you can unpause this video and you can actually figure out the rest of this system in order to break your weapons. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do, having completed Guardian of the Void, we're gonna actually go, we are gonna go to this one zone, Valduna Front, Zarkabard S. This is the Wings of the Goddess Zarkabard expansion area. Past version of Zarkabard, if you will. Conveniently, the home point is right next to a Voidwatch entry point, so I can just walk right down here, and the Voidwatch entry point's right here as soon as it loads. Another thing, this is a good way to make money inside Voidwatch here, but I still recommend you finish Guardian of the Void as fast as possible. That way you're not stuck. Alright, so we're gonna go in. Here we are. We're in. Alright, now we are in Walk of Echoes. There's Atomos over there, just chilling, eating up reality and such. And there's yet another Atomos over there, I guess, eating more realities. YOLO. Alright, so now you have to find a specific question mark on the ground, and I believe it's this north end, right here. So before you actually talk to it, you need to have the gun that you made with the Magian trial, the one you completed, that has the Walk of Echoes weapon skill on it at level 99. You take that gun, you equip it, and you simply, with Guardian of the Void completed and all the other prereqs, click on this thing right here. And this is what happens. There's Cooperfried. And he's gonna talk to me about some stuff. And so I'm gonna select which one I want to break. This is actually important, but the game, I think, puts too much emphasis on it. But that's just my personal opinion. You can pop this guy with any Walk of Echoes weapon equipped. So if I wanted to break a different Walk of Echoes weapon, I could do that by leaving, like, let's say that I want to break like CDC for Paladin, but I can't equip it to my Corsair. So I'll come here with my gun equipped, the Walk of Echoes gun, and I can actually get the CDC all done from here without being on Paladin. I believe that's the reason they did it this way. But of course, I'm gonna want to do my marksman one. So I'll select this option. So he's gonna flag me for a marksman weapon skill break. So essentially what he wants me to do now is trade him the marksman weapon. So I'll take that off. So I'm gonna go back here, and I'm gonna simply trade this gun. Level 99 completed. Cooperfried will spawn again. He'll be very excited. I have the completed gun traded to him. Good for me. You can also start this quest, I think, before you finish the liminal residue and all that, so potentially you would have a situation where you could start the quest, pick the marksmanship quest line, and then go back and finish the gun, and then come back again and then trade it. So maybe that's another reason why the prompt is the way it is. But there's no point in starting this until you've got the level 99 gun and Guardian of the Void done, because you won't get any farther. Alright, the ineffable power of wildfire now resides within you. So that message pops up. I don't trust it, so let's test to see if that's actually accurate. I'm going to put my Molfrith on. So now I have access to marksmanship weapon skills, and the Molfrith gives me wildfire, so I'll see a wildfire. Okay, there it is. Alright. So then I'm going to take the Molfrith off and pick another marksmanship weapon to look at the marksmanship weapon skills without Molfrith equipped. Okay. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to see if I have wildfire, and I do. And so since I have wildfire, and I have a 119 gun equipped, I no longer need Molfrith. I literally drop it on the ground, unless I want to lock style it, which I don't, because I have a death penalty. Right? So there you go, you spend millions and millions of gil making a Molfrith, or whatever weapon skill from Walk of Echoes that you want, and then ultimately you throw it away. So you just unlock the weapon and the weapon skill and throw away the actual weapon, because it's nothing more than a lock style at that point. You can't use it at 119 as well as you could use a 119 weapon. It would only be good at level 99 cap. It's actually very good at level 99 cap. Still not as good though as your RMEs. If I had a level 99 death penalty and I was at level 99 cap, or doing level 99 content with people no item levels allowed, which, believe it or not, does happen for funsies, then I would probably still want an RME 99 and not actually the Walk of Echoes 99s. But, you know, that's another story for another day. This is basically a story on how you unlock these things. So now, on my core, I have Lead and Salute, which is your best weapon skill for darkness damage. Wildfire, which is your best weapon skill for light damage, even though it says deals fire damage. For most of the time, you're just doing it on a light weapon skill chain. And then I also have Last Stand, which is physical Empyrean, and I can actually use job points, or I'm sorry, merit points, to actually make it stronger or weaker. There's a merit point section for that one. Last Stand is okay for physical damage, but if you're playing Corsair, let's be honest, you're not here for physical damage. You're here to be a red mage that has magical damage, magical range damage / red mage stuff. That's what you do. So let's go figure out where those weapon skills are. Yeah, see, your wildfire, your last stand is in here. So that's what you want to do. You need to get, you don't necessarily have to have last stand, but you definitely need it if you don't have wildfire. And you need to get lead and salute all the time if you play a marksman that can use lead and salute, which is Corsair. If you have lead and salute and you don't have last stand, you need to make sure you have wildfire. The same can be said the other way around. If you have lead and salute and you don't have wildfire, you need last stand. Most likely want to merit it 5 for 5. I only have 1 point in it because I don't like it so much and I play all the other jobs, but that's also another story for another day. And that's how you actually break weapons in Walk of Echoes series. So if you're trying to actually unlock all of the weapon skills for your job, that's the easiest way and the quickest way to do it in Imagine Trial stuff. And all you really need, other than the prerequisites done, is the 30 coins, the 100 devious dice, and the 100 liminal residue, and like 5 minutes of footwork. After that, you're good to go. You can do this every single time until all of your Walk of Echoes weapons are done, if you want to. But if you have like an alternate account that you're trying to do it on, don't forget that you do have a lot of prereqs to do, and it will take several days, or at least several hours out of your day to get all of this done. Do not forget that. It's very, very critical, and it's not readily available on a lot of wikis in detail, so that's why I made this video and pointed you to the wikis where it is readily available so you can get more information if this has happened to you or is happening to you or will happen to you. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.